Hi, my name is Winsley, and welcome to my video reaction and interpretation of this teaser image that we just got from the developers of Age of Wonders 4. For those of you who don't know, there were 4 DLCs for Age of Wonders 4 that were announced when the base game was getting promoted. And I think because the game did so well, the developers said that they want to keep developing the game past those 4 DLCs. So this is our first look at what people are going to get relatively soon. We don't know a whole lot, but there may be more inside this image that people haven't been able to unpack just yet because it's kind of cryptic, and I love that. That means that people are going to be thinking about this image in detail for quite some time. It does say day one up there, so there is an indication that we might get another teaser tomorrow. But in case we didn't, I just wanted to react to not only this teaser, but some of the other leaks that we've been getting on Discord and a lot of people's interpretation of this image on Discord over the past few hours. I'm recording this about 3 hours after we got the image, so yeah, I bet there's some things that were missed, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts in the comments section below. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop over to this page where I took all the images from Discord, and we can start to really like look at what's in here. I think some people were saying that we may get an announcement about a new season pass and what's in there that could be hinted at somewhere within these details. There's some numbers and some letters that you can unpack using I think what they called the Eldritch alphabet and well, we know Morse code. Morse code's in the real world, but Eldritch alphabet is something that they came up with in the Age of Wonders 4 game as kind of like an ancient language that when you use it, it invokes special powers. But it seems like at a glance, what we have here is something that looks very similar to a gremlin on the left and something that looks very similar to the Tome of Fertility on the right. You can actually see the branches quite a bit here at the bottom of the tome, and I have to agree that looks very similar to the Tome of Fertility. Somebody pointed out that the branches are slightly different, so this could be a new tome that has gremlins but also has some nature affinity associated with it, and I think that'd be really neat if there was some kind of new chaos nature interaction, because we have the barbarian culture that does have that interaction. I think the thought process behind tomes and cultures is there shouldn't be too much of the same type of crossover interactions there. So this could be them saying, okay, now we have so much in the game, we can actually start to play around a little bit more with the tomes and the affinities to just come up with fun ideas, fun themes. And I think gremlins, they're kind of known for being tricksters, and the Fae are kind of known for being tricksters. So this makes a lot of sense to me, especially when you think about the story realm in that last DLC in Eldritch Realms. I believe I won't give any big spoilers, but I believe there was a character that used Fey looking form that was kind of aquatic looking. So it could be that they were trying to indicate that if the DLCs did well, that's where they were planning on taking the series, is to try and do some aquatic stuff, or maybe do some more stuff with the Fae, because that was a big part of the Toll of Seasons. You go to like Duhatha and try to take out their um, big spirit elk thing. I forget what they called it exactly. Scourges. That's right. That's right. They called it Scourges. So it seems like to me that if we look at the Eldritch alphabet, we got a big 4 and a big 5. I think this is the 4 over here actually, and this is the 5 over here. So it says 5, 4, and then something in the middle. I saw something from Jordy, one of the developers, saying that it's not 5, 4, 4, JE, although this is an interpretation of the Morse code in the middle. I think it's not quite right. I believe it's numbers, and it could be a countdown. It could be telling us how many more DLCs we're getting. Um, I'm not entirely sure yet, but those are the numbers that we have so far, and I'd love to know if anybody else has any more thoughts on that. If I find out anything about this, I'll put it in the comment section below. I'll pin it right at the top so people can get to that kind of information relatively quickly. So I did see some people in Discord saying that they think this might be a fairy DLC. I agree. Based on what I was just talking about, Fae themed DLC makes a lot of sense to me, where you go to Duatha, maybe you get a gremlin leader. Oh yes, please, I'd love that. Um, And then we're getting into some of the other things that we were seeing on on Discord. I think this is just stuff generated by the community. They were trying to um, encourage us to get things like this sooner by sending the developers kind of funny looking bikini pictures of their monsters. And the really neat thing in here is how they spelled wow. I actually think that that was a little bit of a leak. That was them saying, okay, stop, here's your leak right here. It's subtle, but it's there. And the other reason I think this is because um, that spelling where you capitalize the second W is apparently in the file name for the bingo file. So this is like bingo wow. So the first DLC probably has the acronym. I forget what you call it. I think it's an acronym when you shorten things of WOW. So it could be like Worlds of Water, Worms of Worry. I don't know. Something along those lines. But I think given that we might see some aquatic stuff or some water stuff, this seems to indicate to me that it might be water. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see what people's interpretations of this little leak are. So feel free to let me know in the section below. There was something Voxel said here which I thought was really funny. He said, I agree until redacted. Now redacted may be my favorite form. Honestly, they look awesome. So there's a new form that looks amazing, and I don't know what that is, but I'm really, really excited because there's so many existing forms. Personally, I want to see centaurs. I love centaurs. I played a centaur in my first D&D game, so if we could work that in, I would be incredibly happy. But I don't know. I think that sounds challenging. At the same time, we have the Naga transformation, which gives them tails, and the tentacle one, which I think sounds just as complicated as adding 4 legs to existing units. What else did we have in here? Apparently, Dragon Lords are no longer bad in melee. That was something that one of the devs talked about. I figured I may as well mention that here because that's something that got talked about more recently. I think will be a big deal to some people. But yeah, what else is there? Some of the other names people were coming up with. The bingo card. Yeah, the bingo card, if you save it, its default name is Bing. It doesn't say bingo, it says Bing. Wow. That's pretty good. I like that name. Um, but yeah, this is the bingo card. There's a couple little stars here. We got red in the center, a black backdrop with kind of like, I don't know, a fog in the bottom left. When I saw this, I was thinking, is that kind of like the Fey fog that we associate with them? But then again, red is kind of like a chaos color. So I think there's a fairly good chance we're getting some kind of nature chaos thing in the next DLC. And of course, I did want to mention that this all reminds me of how they hinted at Star Kings. And if you want to try and unpack the image using similar strategies, there could be letters hidden somewhere in the image that tell us the name, like it did here with the Star Kings announcement for Planetfall. And the date, they actually gave us the name and the date kind of spread across a couple parts of one image. So who knows, maybe we'll get more images that gives us the full story, or maybe it's actually all here. There was one little thing that I was unable to interpret that's kind of hidden in the top right. It looked very grainy, so I don't actually think there's any information there, but it could be, we got some letters or things that look like letters in the top here. If I zoom in, you should be able to see that. The light blue thing looks almost like an O here and almost like an H here, and I think somebody said one of them looks like an 8. But I'm not seeing the letters in here, and I'm not sure what these things mean on the outside. I don't think they line up with the Eldritch alphabet that I showed off a little bit below and we talked about. I also believe I saw somebody post that this is just kind of like a load screen generally, so these might not have actual significance. The fact that they're lit up brightly does seem important to me. The fact that they match the color of this number and the Morse code over here seems like, yeah, they should have some significance. And the little tiny thing is really, really hard to see, but it's that right there. If I zoom it in as much as I can, that's it. That's all I can really make out there. And it looks to me like that could be a date. It looks like it could be 3 characters, but that's about all I can make out from here. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say on this teaser. I think it's excellent, and I'm very excited to see more. I'll see you around. Have a good one.